We're sitting here with Wayne Kurzen, certified EOS implementer. He's my implementer for Zeus Closet, and we just wrapped up our quarterly meeting today. And something came up in conversation. I asked Wayne about his experience with businesses and different clients in different sectors and how they've handled the pandemic. We know a lot of businesses are suffering right now, but Wayne has a different experience, so I wanted him to share some tips with you guys. So Wayne, with your clients and people that you come in contact with in the entrepreneurial world, what have you seen as far as effects of the pandemic?
We just finished what we call annual season, where we're doing full-day annual sessions that include team building and strategic planning for the following year. And I have to tell you, I was very surprised that every client but one had actually met their or exceeded their projections for the year.
So what would you say is the difference between the businesses in general that just got demolished by the pandemic and the ones that actually thrived, maybe either survived or did better?
Yeah. Well, obviously, that a lot of it relates to the kind of business you're in. If you're in hospitality or doing events, that kind of went south in a hurry. But we had clients in manufacturing, construction, electrical contracting, HVAC, IT companies. They all did quite well, but I think one of the most important things is that they looked at the situation and made some quick pivots to order to accommodate what was happening. And it kind of takes me back to 2009, in the middle of the 2008 recession, and I attended a conference, and Tom Peters was one of the speakers, and he said, when you face a crisis, a pandemic, or a recession, there's two things that are really important. First of all, plan on it lasting longer than you think, and plan on it being more severe than you think, and then make immediate cuts. You can't slow leak this thing, or you'll get to a place where maybe you can't survive. And I would say, and of course with the fitness centers, they made immediate cuts. And that was probably one of the reasons that they actually did quite well in spite of the situation. So the other thing is, and I know this sounds self-promoting, but all of my clients were using EOS, which is an entrepreneurial operating system, defined in a book called Traction there. Because they had a stabilized business, they met weekly already, and their meetings were really revolved around smoking out issues and solving issues. They were just better prepared to handle the changes that were taking place. And sometimes they met more often, like we were doing 90-day quarterly plans. Well, some of them went to 1 month plans just because things were changing so much. And another thing that's important too, I think, is being a business owner can be pretty lonely at the top, and being involved in peer groups, CEO peer groups, like EO, I think that really made a big difference because, first of all, it makes one feel good that, hey, I'm not in this all by myself. Plus, there's a lot of great ideas that come forth from other business owners. So I think having a solid business operating system and getting right people in the right seat ahead of time, having processes that actually work and people are following them are really key. And then having a system where you meet regularly in meetings that are actually productive, as opposed to a lot of meetings that are not productive.
When people ask me about 2021, I'm really, maybe I'm over optimistic, but I'm bullish on 2021. I think this is the beginning of the roaring 20s. What are your thoughts? How do you feel?
Well, first of all, I don't have a direct line to God, and I think that's the only way you could be really accurate. But I think what happened, and many times I think the COVID was almost a blessing in that it caused companies to really become lean, get rid of some people that they should have gotten rid of 15 months ago. Finally had a reason. So they became more efficient, more cost conscious, which really put them in a position to actually weather whatever does happen. But I think there's a good chance that things are going to pick up. But again, I'm not an economist, and so I hesitate to say anything there. But I do know one thing: if you can be prepared and you're doing the right things, like we just talked about, you're going to be a heck of a lot better off than if you don't.
All right. Well, you guys heard it here from someone who has probably seen it all, heard it all through the years, through the decades.
I'm not that old.
All right, Wayne, we appreciate your insight today. Thanks a lot.
You bet.